Since its creation, the game has been incorporating many things. There is the Pucci-Derella mode. This is where the traditional producing happens. You can have up to 3 Pucci-Derellas, left, center, and right. You can't make the idol do lives and such, but they contribute to live battles and events. There's even a technical board, a skill tree that will provide the Pucci-Derella with boosts. Pucci-Derella lessons are time-gated. Increase vocal, visual, dance, or technical points to invest into the technical board. The lessons are based on the lessons of the previous games, at least in terms of presentation. To skip the waiting, there are items to skip it, but it's not easily available. You can't even pay for it. In a way, in this predatory mobile game industry, this is sort of welcome. You can also dress up the Pucci-Derella, changing their costume, accessories, and even hairstyles. Go to visit another Pucci room and give it Pucci likes. Since this is an Idolmaster game, you should be able to listen to some vocal tracks, right? Well, sort of. Vocal tracks are barely used for in-game purposes, especially since this is a feature phone game with minimal data download requirement in mind. But that doesn't mean you can't. There is a sound booth. Sadly, this is only to listen to 45-second previews of the featured songs. Also, CG Mobage itself hosts several interesting minigames. Dondoko Paradise, which is just basically Taiko no Tatsujin, Koi Koi Cinderella, and Dice de Cinderella Survival. Dondoko Paradise, CG's in-game Taiko no Tatsujin minigame, is the usual Taiko no Tatsujin fare for your phone browser. This is here because, well, Taiko no Tatsujin is Bandai Namco's game. It's slippery with the browser swipes though, so it's not an optimal way to play Taiko. Also, don't play this on PC. The lag is unbearable. Koi Koi Cinderella is basically the Koi Koi Hanafuda card game with Cinderella Girls characters. It's a Koi Koi Hanafuda game. That's all it is. I'm not very good at this game myself, so let's just skip this one. The Dice de Cinderella games, initially started as an April Fool's joke, are actually more interesting than they look. There is more strategy involved. The games are RPGs where the battle system involves dice. The dice result will multiply the damage output of the party members when the dice matches with them. There will be 3 to 5 dice rolled randomly except the last die, which you get to choose from 3 die you have on stock. Understanding the party member's skills and dice is needed. If you've noticed, the idols actually have their own RPG-styled costumes. Their designs here are the basis for their guest appearances in other RPG games such as Rage of Bahamut and yes, Granblue Fantasy. Some have their offensive capability changed, like Mio's capability to attack with a gun in Granblue Fantasy, while she can't attack at all in Dice de Cinderella, but that's game-by-game basis. It's pretty fun because there is a high variance of dice combinations and skills. The survival mode is where you fight enemies continuously until you had enough or lose. A good way to acquire the game medals that are needed to play the game. Meanwhile, the second game has the adventure set in a board game style dungeon. You get to choose the dice result for moving on the stock available. Both are entertaining, so be sure to at least check Dice de Cinderella. I personally believe it's the best game. While the main gameplay is sparse, the game provides you with side contents that involve reading, such as the Refresh Room, which are a collection of commus involving Pucci-Derellas. Unvoiced though, considering the content involves the unvoiced idols as well. Now, let's summarize the rest of the things. A gallery so you can check your collection, a record of events where you can check your progress and their commus, a sticker collection anime information and exclusive special audios, which we have translated of course, bedrooms to store your unused cards, access to the production that works like a clan, where you receive prizes, a store to buy resources, an inventory where all your resources are stored, Pucci dresses, resources, titles, or even special cards such as Cinderella Dream, the most waifu costumes of the game and are only obtainable in this way. In addition to the usual functions of the Mobage that include conversing with other producers. A last tidbit about playing the game. To be able to gacha using the free jewels, you must authenticate the Mobage account with a Japanese mobile phone number. And you won't have access to the function of exchanging cards either. The price of card exchanges is defined by the players and is the best way to get resources. So if you don't have a Japanese phone number, you'll have to spend a lot of money on this game. All this is part of Chihiro's master plan. Well, that's all about it for CG Mobage, your usual browser social game fare that is quite interesting as a whole actually. There are other things like voting, popularity polls, ways and moments where unvoiced idols get to be voiced, and so on. But that is for another day. One thing is for sure, around May or so is the voting period for choosing this year's titular Cinderella Girl. It will decide many contents of Cinderella Girls, including who gets to sing the new songs. So when the time comes, you may want to check that out. All things considered though, when you look at it from a figurative standpoint, the true Cinderella Girl of this sub-series is neither of the idols. The true Cinderella Girl is Cygames. CG Mobage is one of the longest running games Cygames has made, together with Rage of Bahamut, even older than Granblue Fantasy. As they grow with their first two games, Rage of Bahamut and CG Mobage, they have grown into an industry juggernaut, capable of developing demanding projects like Starlight Stage, Dragalia Lost, and many others. They even get to outsource their own IPs to other high-profile developers such as Arc System Works and Platinum Games. Have you ever wondered if Granblue Fantasy would exist at all if they didn't get to make this game? It's in the name. Cygames is the Cinderella Girl, and Idolmaster Cinderella Girls is the Caravan.